Hi everyone! Today we are continuing our Roll for Scrap series. This is part of my stash busting series where I am trying to use up a lot of my specifically acrylic yarn, but stash in general, because I have too much yarn for one person, and that's all I really need to say about that. So today I'm so excited because we're actually going to be doing some home decor. We moved into this house in January, at the beginning of January, and in our living room we have this bookshelf that our cats will sometimes sit on to look out the window. So we left this one shelf totally open so that they can go up there and people watch or animal watch, you know. And I've had this idea since basically we moved in here that I want to make a granny square mat kind of to put on the shelf. And I think that granny squares are going to be the perfect roll for scrap project, so I'm really excited. I do kind of foresee the cats kind of shredding up this mat a little bit. I think they're going to probably want to make biscuits on it. So I'm not entirely sure it's going to withstand the test of time and the test of claws, so I guess we'll see. But I still want to make it anyways because I think it's going to be fun, I think it's going to be cute, and who knows, maybe they won't destroy it. We'll have to see. But I'm also really excited because I have a lot of scraps of bright, fun colors, and that's what I'm envisioning. Really bright, really fun. I have my books organized by rainbows, so like I think that we're gonna try and go for just rainbow vibe, you know? And then I think I've decided I'm going to do a border in white. So that's a pre-decided thing. I have a lot of white acrylic just to kind of keep it looking a little bit consistent. So we're gonna have to kind of play it by ear. I'm not entirely sure exactly how many granny squares I'm gonna need yet. I did go ahead and measure that shelf and it is 30 inches by 12 inches. So I'm hoping we'll be able to get 6-inch squares so that we can do 5 by 2, so 10 squares total. And I'm also really hoping that this will be like a day or two project. So honestly, I think we can do it, which if we can, that would be so great because that means it's a really fast and fun and easy project if you want to make some like placemat home decor for your house. Yeah, I'm really excited, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick out some of my colors. I'm gonna try and go for like kind of every color of the rainbow. I'm not entirely sure. I've seen a couple scraps back there that have had my eye for this project. I'm gonna go ahead and grab those colors now and then we can jump right in. I'm so excited. Okay, I have my colors picked out and I only grabbed 6 colors, so one for each of the rainbow kind of. So this will actually be a really great project for you too if you don't have any of the specialty dice, because I'm just gonna be using a D6, a normal like standard dice. So yeah, I think most people have one of those in their house. Check your Yahtzee game or whatever. So without further ado, let me just run through our colors really quick. I'm so excited. So first off, I'm not doing red. I'm going to do this pink instead. These are all just going to be acrylic yarns and they're miscellaneous. I'm not entirely sure like what brand they all are. This one I know specifically was a hand-me-down from a friend. But yeah, so first we have this hot pink. Next up, I don't really have any good orange scraps, so unfortunately I had to grab, it's not a full skein, but it's pretty full, so I doubt we're gonna be getting through this today, but that's okay. Next up we have this yellow. These are all very bright colors, so I'm excited. I think they're gonna look so good together. Alright, next up we have this lime green. Next up I grabbed this blue. I was kind of torn on whether or not I wanted to do a brighter blue than this, but I think that this is good and it's a good size, so this is what I ended up settling on. And honestly, on camera it looks more like a true blue, but in person it is kind of more like a teal color, so it does lean green. But here's our blue, and then finally we have this purple lavender color. Alright, so here's our spread, and as usual I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's go ahead and roll for our first color. Here is the dice I'm going to be using today. It's kind of this blue-green shimmery dice, and I really love it. Alright, let's see what we get. Starting off strong with 6, so that is purple. I think I am just going to be using a 5mm hook for this project. And I'm not going to lie, I have not made a granny square in a hot minute, so it might take me a second to figure this out. I'm just doing a chain 1 in between on my corners. I'm wondering though if I should do chain 2. I'm going to do chain 2. I think I'm going to do chain 2 in my corners and then not chain in between my clusters. I think that sounds like a good plan. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so here's our first round. So it's looking pretty good. I love this color, and let's roll for our next color. I'm really excited. I'm hoping we get yellow or green. Ooh. But let's see what we get. Franklin is here for moral support. We got 5. So we got blue. How do you feel about that, Franklin? No thoughts, just vibes. All right, I think we're gonna go for 3 rounds per square. I think that will be a good amount. I just realized I'm gonna have to block these because they're granny squares, and I feel like granny squares just, they should be blocked, you know? But I will probably just steam block them because I'm a little lazy and impatient. I think that that's maybe more accurate. Well, I'm a little impatient. Move the camera down so you can actually see me crocheting. I'm so bad at that. Here is the end of round 2. Gorge. Let's roll for round 3. I'm really excited. All right, round 3. 3 yellow. I am not weaving in my ends as I go. That is a problem for future Killian. Okay, I don't want to hear it. It'll be fine. And it's not like we're doing a zillion granny squares, probably. I keep accidentally only chaining 1 in between on my corners, and then I keep having to go back and fix it. Oh shoot, you know what I wanted to do? Someone told me I should measure out how many grams of yarn I have at the beginning and the end of these Roll for Scrap videos or Stash Busting series videos, and that is such a good idea. So let me go grab my kitchen scale, and I know I've already done 3 rows, but we can just give an estimate of the yarn usage so far. Okay, I'm gonna go grab my kitchen scale because I think that's a fun idea. Okay, here's my kitchen scale. Nice. Let's weigh these bad boys. Okay, 0 grams. Perfect. Let's start with the pink. 27 grams. The orange, we have 110 grams. The yellow, 28 grams. This is so fun. I feel like a little scientist. Okay, green, 17 grams. Blue, 52 grams. Purple, 81 grams. And then here's the white I'm gonna be using. It is a big chunga, 180 grams. And then just for good measure, I'll weigh this granny square. It's 5 grams, so about 14% of our granny square is the purple, about 30% of the granny square is blue, and about 57-ish% of the granny square is yellow. So I'll just round up, I guess, and I'll add an extra 3 grams of, oh, now it's at saying 6. Oh gosh. Okay, I'll just do 3 grams of extra for the yellow, so that puts us at a starting of 31 grams for the yellow. I'll just add an extra 2 grams for the blue. I'm trying to keep it whole numbers, you know? So that puts us at 54 grams starting for the blue. And then I'll just add an extra gram for the purple. So that puts us at 82 grams starting for the purple. That's for all you math nerds out there. Okay. Okay, now that we figured that out, so this granny square is only measuring at 3 inches, about a little bit more across. So I don't think just adding white will get us to our goal. Yeah, each round adds about an inch. So I think I'm gonna do 1 more round and then do 4 rounds total, and then plus the white is 5 rounds total. And then I think I can block them to 6 inches. How does that sound? 4 rounds total. Let's roll for our 4th round then. All right, we got 4, which is green. So that worked out pretty well that I didn't get any repeating colors in the granny square, and I think I might just keep on that trend. So if I get a repeating color, I might just roll again so that we don't have like 2 rows of purple in the granny square, if that makes sense. That's gonna be the little rule I make for myself. You can do whatever you want with your granny squares. This one worked out like this, and so I'm gonna just roll with it. Also, I'm gonna try out the join as you go method when I do these granny squares. I've never done that before. I haven't done, honestly, that many granny square projects if I'm thinking about it. I've made a lot of sunburst granny squares, and then I didn't do anything with them. I just kind of have them laying around. Maybe I should do something with those. I was thinking about making a cardigan, but I think I need a lot more if I want to make a cardigan. And I got the yarn that I'm using for that project at Hobby Lobby, and I'm not gonna buy the yarn, so kind of have to work with the colors I have. I guess I could get a solid color to supplement. You know what I really should do is I should do a video where I finish a frog, my whips, because I have some like long forgotten whips, I'm sure. Those granny squares included. I just kind of remembered them now. Anyways, I'm babbling. Okay, here is the end of our 4th round. What do you think? All right, so we are measuring at about 4.5 inches. And honestly, if I'm a little under my 30 by 12, I think it was, inches, it's not that big of a deal because I did count there's like a little lip on the shelf. And so if I don't cover that lip fully, I think it'll be fine. But honestly, I think the 4 rounds is gonna end up being perfect. I think I'm gonna do all the white at the end because I want to. So that being said, here is our first square, not completed, but pretty much for what it's worth. So yeah, pretty happy with it. You'll have to let me know at the end your thoughts on which one ends up being your favorite square. I will definitely give you my thoughts on which one ends up being my favorite square. I'm gonna stack them back here. Let's roll for the first round of our next square. All right, the sun is out and shining. Let's roll. Ooh, one. We got pink to start. I love it. All right, that is what we're looking like for our first round. Let me tighten up this ring. There we go. That's a little better. Nice. All right, what are we gonna get for our second color? The anticipation. All right, what's it gonna be? Ooh, 5. Blue. I don't know why. Well, I kind of do. I hope we get one that is pink, blue, green, and purple because that would be so Powerpuff vibe. Powerpuff Girls. Let me know if you grew up watching the Powerpuff Girls. I love that show. It's on HBO, I think. I was watching it the other day, actually. Also, my room growing up had a green, pink, and blue stripe going around it, like a zigzag stripe going around the whole thing. My dad did that for me. It looked pretty cool. Honestly, I would probably do something similar to that now as an adult, but I rent and that would just mean I have to paint it back. When I was living in Portland, my partner and I painted, well, okay, it was mostly me if I'm being honest, painted like the cabinets at our apartment. Honestly, I just used acrylic paint and I painted all over the white cabinets because they were just like, you know how landlords just go in and go shh with the white paint everywhere? That's all it really was, so I didn't feel that bad doing it. But then yeah, when I left, I just left it like that. So we did get a fine for them having to repaint, but it wasn't even that much if I'm being honest. And it was worth it because it looked really cool. If I can find a picture, I will insert it. I had fun doing it too. Anyways, that's kind of a tangent. I don't know how we got here, but it got us to the end of row 2. All right, let's roll for our next color. All right, what's it gonna be? Ooh, 2. Orange. Unfortunately, we are not living out my Powerpuff Girl dream right now, but I do think that this is going to be a lovely combination. So, silver linings, right? What am I doing? Stacked single crochet. Stack it up, stack it up. Oh yeah, this is a vibe. I am here for it. This project is already so fun. I love granny squares. They're so colorful, and you could do this with like, to make a cardigan. Maybe I'll do that one day. I have always really wanted a granny square cardigan, but my thing is that I'm not sure I'd want to use acrylic. I guess I could. Easy to wash, but I think with my experience as a crocheter has evolved, I've realized that 100% acrylic garments are like not my thing. Acrylic is fine in garments if I mix it with like other natural fibers. Like for example, the wavy sweater, I had some acrylic in there, but it was like, first of all, soft acrylic, and second of all, I had other fibers mixed in like bamboo and cotton and wool, actually, I think. And so I think like mixing it all together, it was quite a soft garment. But I have made some pieces out of just acrylic that I don't tend to wear as much. I guess the only exception to that also would be the eye sweater because I really like that piece, but I think it's because it's very holey. It's even like holier than this. Granny squares can tend to be like pretty dense. Like this is a very thick, like that's probably like 6 millimeters in thickness, which is pretty thick for clothing. It would definitely be warm. But I guess what I'm saying is that I would do this to make a granny square cardigan or sweater. I would probably want to use a thinner yarn and a different fiber type. But that's just me. I mean, that's just a personal choice. Well, all my blabbing is really getting me through these rounds. But then at the same time, my camera is like kind of overheating because I've been leaving it on for so long because I just keep blabbing. So anyways, here's the end of round 3. What do we think? I love it. I think it looks awesome. Let's roll for the 4th round. All right, round 4. 4 green. Also, we've officially used all of the colors now, which is great. I think that it gives it a good balance to use all the colors. Oh, this one's gonna look so good. It is still kind of Powerpuff Girl vibes, but like not really. But it does have the 3 colors, the 3 essential colors for Powerpuff Girls. All right, here is our second square, all done. I love it. Wow, look at that. Also, I just realized, here's our first square, and they both end in green, so those will probably have to be a little bit a ways from each other, but I love it. we're cruising. Let's move on to our third one, I suppose, huh? See what we get for round one. All right, what do we got? Starting off with orange. So yeah, I'm really hoping that my calculations are correct with the amount we need. But I guess if anything, if it ends up being too small, I can just go around. I just had an idea, but I don't know if we're gonna have to do it. I was gonna say, if it ends up being too small after I connect it, I could do a border in these colors, which could be really cute. But at the same time, if we run out of any of these colors and then we're not able to include it in the border, I think it might bother me a little bit. I don't know. I'm just speaking my thoughts. I don't even know if we're gonna need to do it. I could just do a border in white too, if it comes down to that. Oh, whoa. This is going by so fast. We're already done with round one. Okay, here's what that's looking like. Love. All right, let's roll for round two. 4. We got green, which is good because that means we will not be getting green for the border. We already have too much of that going on right now. You know, if we got purple, it would be like Halloween vibes. That could be cool. I like that I'm just like planning the colors out in my head, even though I don't make the decision at all. It's not up to me, it's up to the dice. But I like to imagine what it could be. Okay, sun, there's the end of row 2. Shall we continue on? I think we should. All right, what's it gonna be? Ooh, 3. Yellow. Also, sorry for this wild lighting. Like, honestly, it's just the sun. There's not really much I can do about that. I don't usually film these videos so early in the morning. The sun always kind of hits at a weird angle at the early hours of the day, and usually I kind of wait until like early afternoon time to start filming these videos. But because I have a goal to kind of finish this up this weekend, I thought we would get an early start on it. So if it's bothering you, I do apologize, but take it up with the sun. There we go. There is the end of row 3. I love this one. It's so bright. Okay, let's roll for our last row. I can't believe we're here already. This is such a fast project, coming from someone who hasn't done any of the end weaving or assembly yet. So take that with a grain of salt. All right. 5. We are ending with blue. How fun. Couldn't have picked a better color myself. Also, for anyone curious, I am wearing the Sal Miguel blouse. Can't really see it. This is a pattern by Shop Daisy and Dime. I crocheted this last summer, and I'm so excited that it's finally like starting to get so warm out that I can kind of start wearing my summer and spring pieces again. So go check out this pattern. Her patterns are absolutely adorable. I definitely want to make another one of these tops. Maybe like a long sleeve version for the fall. So just thought I would mention that since I am wearing my own crochet today. We love that. All right, here is the end of our third granny square. Here's it in the sun. Here's it not in the sun. Half in the sun, half not in the sun. Anyways, let me know your thoughts. Let's continue on to granny square number 4. All right, starting off. Oh, we're starting off with the 5, which is blue. I do really like this blue. Like I said, on camera, it's definitely coming across as a true blue. Oh my god, I messed this up. In real life, it is kind of more like a teal, but it looks quite lovely. I'm a big fan. All right, here is the end of row 1 for granny square 4. And let's roll for, whoa, my hand. Ah. Anyways, let's roll for round 2. Okie dokie. Whoa. 3. So we got yellow. Great choice. This color combination is reminding me of a bird, maybe a toucan or a macaw. I don't know. Have y'all ever had a bird as a pet? Or do you have a bird as a pet? I'm not sure if having a bird as a pet would be for me, considering I have cats, but they're so cool. Birds are really cool. Not me going off on a bird tangent again. My coworker has a bird and she's got a lizard. So that's pretty cool. I also have some friends who have a chinchilla, and her name is Phoebe, and she's so soft and so funny. If you have any interesting or exotic pets, you should let me know about them. And feel free to send me a picture of them on Instagram too, because I would love to see them. Okay, there we go. Actually, the sun is really nice for like showing off the colors, I feel like. All right, row 3. Let's see what we get. We got 4 again. Green. I don't know if y'all have noticed this, but this green has been in every granny square so far. Isn't that interesting? And I think it was the one we had the least amount of, so we're probably gonna for sure be using up all of it. Probably for sure, yeah. Although, I don't know. Who's to say? Only time will tell. You could fast forward in the video and find out if you want to. I can't do that, or I would. Whenever y'all are reading books, do you ever accidentally read ahead and then spoil the book for yourself? I don't do it on purpose, but sometimes your eyes just wander, especially when it's like really intense. I try to like cover the page so that I can't do that because I don't want to spoil it for myself. It just happens, you know? Anyways. All right, the end of row 3. Normally whenever I'm in between like filming for these videos, the rows usually take me a little bit longer and I'm watching something in between, but these rows are so fast that the YouTube video I'm watching Bethany Glover showing off all of her outfits for her week. I've only made it like 11 minutes into the video because I keep having to pause. Not complaining. This project is so fun. It's going by so fast. My battery just died and I realized we might have to take a forced pause with filming because I only have 2 batteries and I have my other battery charging. The battery that I just put back in the camera died at the beginning of me filming this video, so it hasn't been charging for that long, and so the other one just completely died. So I don't think this one has that much charge in it, so we're probably gonna have to wait until my batteries charge. Anyways, I should stop blabbing so we can make the most of our battery life, and let's just roll for our 4th and final round for this granny square. All right, what are we gonna get? 1 pink. I don't even remember what I was talking about before my battery died. There is the end of this granny square. I love this one. This one might be my favorite so far. What do you think? Granny square number 4. Onward. Let's roll. I love me a fresh palette. Oh, 5. Starting with blue again. I think purple and orange we've both only gotten 1 time. Blue and green are kind of stealing the show. Nothing wrong with that. Not complaining. Orange. All right. Y'all ready for row 2? 1 pink. Love me some blue and pink. Honestly, pink with most colors is a great combo in my opinion. Gorgeous, just as I anticipated. Are you surprised? Because I'm not. Row 3. 6. There's the purple. I was missing my purple. Oh yeah, blue, pink, and purple. That is such a good combination. Wow. Absolutely gorgeous. Very girly pop. Look at that. That's so cute. That's like unicorn vibe. Let's keep that energy going. Unicorn vibes. And let's roll for row 4. Okie dokie. 3, which is yellow. I honestly don't think that could have gone any better because this is like the unicorn horn for the unicorn. This is the unicorn square. All right, and here is the end of our 4th granny square. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. Soak it in. Glorious. Gorge. We love her. That was our 5th granny square. Wow, where has the time gone? All right, I guess we're on our 6th. We just reached the halfway point already. I think I've been at this for an hour, maybe an hour and a half. I don't really know. I have no idea when I started, but we are cruising. So this is a really fun and fast project. Let's roll. Okie dokie. Whoa. 3. So we are starting off with yellow. Wow, do I love granny squares? I didn't think I didn't like granny squares, but I actually am having so much fun making these. Makes me want to do more granny square projects. Also, if y'all saw earlier this year, my friend Michaela is hosting a fiber arts bingo, and I had on my bingo card that I wanted to do granny square projects. I think I maybe had more than just 1 listed as a goal. Yeah, I have 3 granny square projects as a goal for this year. So here's 1. That means I have to do 2 more. So I will probably be doing another roll for scrap with granny squares. I'm not sure if it's gonna be like a standard granny square though. I have an idea of a different granny square project I wanna make. So stay tuned for that. And with that, we are at the end of row 1. So let's see what our next color is going to be. If you can guess, I will give you a virtual kiss. Only take that if you guessed right, okay? Honor system. Okie dokie. 4 green. Don't have a whole lot left of this green. It's gonna last us quite a few more squares. I'm from Wisconsin, so every time I see green and yellow together, my mind automatically just thinks of the Green Bay Packers. Although this is quite a neon green, so it's definitely not the same green that is in their colors. But if you make anything green and yellow in Wisconsin and you say it's Packers, no matter what green and yellow you use, people are gonna be like, okay, I'm not even really a huge football fan. And by not really a huge football fan, I mean I'm not. I enjoy watching a game sometimes, but I couldn't tell you anyone on our team. I probably could have like 5 years ago, but I do not keep up with sports. Perhaps that's relatable. All right, here is the end. I don't know why this one's looking a little funky. Oh, that looks a little better. It was just the circle needed to be closed a bit. Anyways, let's roll for row 3. 6. Purple. The dice never leads me astray. I always think it might, and then it doesn't. I gotta be more trusting in the dice. That's what I'm learning. I mean, it's kind of hard to mess up this project in general because it's a granny square, and I feel like for granny squares, the more color, the better. Maybe that's just me, but anyways. All right, there we go. She's looking cute, and we have one more color left, so let's figure out what that's gonna be. Crossing my fingers for orange, but I guess we'll see. 1. That was like kind of out of frame. There you go. Pink. I'll take pink. I'm okay with pink. The only reason I wanted orange is because I think we've only used orange once. No, we've used it twice. I think we could stand to use orange a couple more times. If I'm being honest, I would prefer that we use some of the other colors anyways because we have less of them. So we have a higher chance of using them up. At the end of the day, I don't really mind at all because I'm just having fun. And if I have little amounts of these colors left, I can still use them in my tapestry projects. Tapestry doesn't use that much of a color usually. Anyways, I'm blabbing. All right, here is the end of Granny Square 6. I love this one. Might be my favorite one so far. I know I've said that about a few, but I think this one has taken the cake for me so far. Love, 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 love. Here's what our stack is looking like. It doesn't look that impressive. All right, let's start our 7th Granny Square and let's see what our center, round 1, is gonna be. Yoki. Whoa. 6, starting off with purple. All right, there is that. Let's roll for row 2. All right, we got 5, so that's blue. Not too bad, not too shabby. I am into it. All right, there is the end of that. Tighten these up. There you go. Cute. All right, row 3. We got 4, which is green. Wow, all cool tones. My gosh, where's the end? Oh, there it is. Oh my gosh, this looks so good together. Honestly, any border color with this combination would look good. That's so silly of me to say because so far I've thought every combination looked good, so I'm not someone who's very adept at style. I guess I'll just say it like that. I tend to think that everything looks pretty good. I don't find a lot of color combinations ugly or like styles to look strange. So I do think that my opinion, definitely take it with a grain of salt. But that being said, I don't think you can deny that this color combination looks sick. Like, that looks so good. You cannot convince me it doesn't. Ta-da! Yay! Round 4. 2. There's the orange we know and love. Nice. I think we've now used every color as a background color except for purple. We are still missing purple as our like 4th round color. If we don't get it, that's okay. And if we do get it, great. I'm so excited about this project. I think it looks so good. It's turning out exactly as I envisioned it to. I think vibrant colors were definitely a fun choice, but I think that if you chose to do like neutral colors too, that could also be really gorgeous, like different shades of browns. Maybe I'll do that. But yeah, this is for a very colorful corner of my house, so I kind of felt like we needed something with a lot of color in it, and I am not disappointed. There is that. Dare I say this is my favorite square so far. I don't know. They're all really cute. I can't wait to see them all by each other at the end so that we can truly compare. This one's so cute. Ah, I love that. Okay, we are on square 8, I believe. Let's roll. Starting off with 2, orange. Yeah, this is working out quite nicely too, that I'm using a pretty even amount of each color, it feels like. I guess that's kind of how a dice works. It's supposed to be like even chances, right? Even odds. Math. It all comes back to math. But yeah, I'm glad. I was a little bit worried that we would have like no orange at first because it felt like we didn't get it a lot. But now we've gotten it back to back, so I'm feeling a little bit better about that. All right, there is our orange center. Let's see what we get for round 2. 5, blue. You may or you may not know this, but blue and orange has had me in a chokehold the past year of my life. I don't know what it is, but this color combination is just immaculate in my eyes. I mean, this is definitely like a brighter blue and orange than I typically go for. Like, I guess as far as like wearables are concerned, I tend to gravitate more towards neutral, muted tones. That doesn't change the fact that this blue and orange is also quite stunning together, at least in my opinion. I mean, come on. Can't go wrong with the blue and orange. Round 3, fight. 4, got green. I'm not sure how much further this green is gonna take us. We have this much left. Hard to tell exactly how much that is, but it is definitely less than we started with. I'm Sherlock Holmes. All right, there is that. Here's our green. So I think we can use it again. Also, I am now 35 minutes into Bethany's video, so I think I'll probably be able to finish it by the time I finish these squares. Anyways, let's roll for our last row. All right, we got 6 purple. Glorious, glorious purple. Purple, purple. What a fun word to say, purple. Okay, anyways. All right, and here is the end of Granny Square 8. Once again, we have the cool tones with, wait. These are the same color combinations. I just realized it's like the same, but the orange and the purple got flipped. Wow. I feel like it just makes it such a different vibe, just those 2 changes. Very interesting. Or is it? I don't know. It's interesting to me. Okay, let's go for Granny Square 9. See what our center is gonna be. All right. Starting off with 5, which is blue. I think blue might be our most used color so far. I thought it was green. Actually, maybe it's a tie. Yeah, we've used a lot of blue. Once again, I'm not mad about it. All right, there we go. Let's see what we get for row 2. 2, which is orange. Blue and orange again. All right, there we go. Row 3. Whoa, that went out of frame, but it is a 3. Yellow. All right, there we go. Big fan, big fan. Let's roll for our final round. 6, purple. Nice, nice. Purple and yellow is like another one of those combinations. I guess I just really love complementary colors, huh? That's all that really means. Just looks so good to me. That is color theory. Okay, we got 2 complementary colors next to each other. All right, there is the end of square number 9. Stunning. Which brings us to our final granny square, y'all. Can you even believe it? I still haven't made it through Bethany's video, so kind of wild. Anyways, let's roll for our final first row. 1, pink. I would like to know if you are a stack single crochet person. When you do granny squares, do you do a stacked single crochet or do you do a chain 2? Or do you do something else? Let me know. I think I established I am a stacked single crochet girly. Don't know why, just kind of a habit I formed. If I ever need to start a row with double crochet, I do a stacked single crochet to start. Just one of those little details. I think personally looks a little bit better, but it's not that much of a difference that like it really matters. It's like the same thing as how I crochet into the back bumps for my starting chain. Anyways, that is the end of our first row. Cute. Love the pink. Let's see what we get for row 2. 6. That was out of frame, but it was a 6, I promise. Purple. Purple again. Didn't we already start with this? Not quite. Not quite. Because we don't have that many color options to choose from, it's like we're bound to get, you know, repeating patterns and things like that. I think it'd be really, really lucky to get the exact same granny square twice, but it's definitely possible, definitely possible. I mean, we're only making 10 for this project, but I think if you were to make like a blanket or something like that, you could definitely get same square twice. Someone smarter than me could figure out the probability of that. Pretty sure my mind just glossed over that part of math, I'm not gonna lie. Okie dokie, very cute, we love. Round 3. Oh, that also went out of frame, but it's a 4. Green. I hope we have enough. I think we will. I think we'll have enough for this. Honestly, I think it's gonna be pretty close to the perfect amount. Only time will tell. What do you think? Do you think we'll have enough? Leave your guesses in the comments below. I don't know. Oh no, we're getting there. It's so close. I think we got this. We got this. For sure. Nice. Wow, here is our final amount of green. Amazing. I think that if we would have picked this green for a round 4, I don't think we would have made it, so couldn't have worked out more perfectly. And look at how cute our square looks. Very cute. All right, let's roll for our final round of our final granny square, our final row, our final roll. Let's see what we get. 5. Ending with blue. I can't believe the end is finally here. I got my Powerpuff Girl square. Oh my gosh. The purple could either be for Mojo Jojo or for that one random extra Powerpuff Girl they threw in at one point. I don't really remember too much, but I know there was like a purple one that got thrown in at some point. That made me so happy. Now, if only the pink, the blue, and the green were all right next to each other, but beggars can't be choosers. All right, y'all, and here is our 10th and final square. She's looking very cute. Here are them all stacked up. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just weave in the ends really quick before I do the join method. I'm gonna have to look up how to do the join as you go method. I've never done it before. Feel like it won't be that hard. I don't know. Let me just weave in these ends really quick and then I'll show you all of the final squares so that you can see them all and then cast your vote on which one you think is the best. Alright, I will be right back. I don't think that watching me weave in these ends is going to be that fun, so this will probably take me longer than making the squares. Alright, I have woven in most of my ends. Honestly, not as many yarn tails as I expected. It's quite beautiful. Whatever plushy head gets that is very lucky. I will go in the order that we made them. Then I will also lay them all out so you can see them all together. Without further ado, these are all the granny squares we just made together. So here's number 1, our first one. Number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, let me get them all laid out so that you can see them all together. Wow, that looks so gorgeous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me know which one is your favorite. Gosh, I just don't know which one's my favorite. I'm really drawn to this one actually, but I really like this one too. I don't know, I really love them all, so you'll have to let me know which one's your favorite. All right, I'm gonna rearrange them in a way that I like. We got pretty lucky actually. It looks like we were able to use 2 of every color for the border colors, except for orange and yellow. We only used 1 each, so that worked out pretty well. So I'm gonna rearrange them a little bit, and then I'll show you what I decide on for the finished arrangement. Okay, that really didn't take me that long. And I think that there's a lot of different combinations I could do, and I think they could all look really, really great. But I don't really want to think about it too hard, or I'm gonna just keep changing my mind with it. So this is what we're gonna go with. Let me take a picture of this so that I can remember what we're doing. Yeah, so just glancing at our different combinations, we did use blue in every single granny square except for this one. That's the only one we didn't use blue for. And then there's 2 that we didn't use green for, these 2. But all the other ones we used green for. And then purple we didn't use in 3 of them. Yellow we didn't use in 4 of them. Pink we didn't use in 5 of them. And orange we didn't use in 5 of them. So blue is definitely our most used color, followed by green, followed by the other colors I just said. Kind of interesting. I need to look up a join as you go method. I've watched videos on how to do it before, but I've never actually done it, so I don't think it's that hard, but I did purposely like not weave in the corner ends. That's what I meant when I said I got most of the ends woven in. But anyways, I'm gonna stop blabbing and I'm going to look into this join as you go method. Okay, so after some research, I realized that I actually do need to finish off all the granny squares, except for the first one that we start with. So let me do that. Should I just do it at the end? I should just do it now. Okay. Okay, I was being dramatic because that literally took less than 5 minutes, but let's learn how to join as we go. I will be following a tutorial by Hooked by Robin. So thank you, Robin, for teaching me. I think white's gonna be a great choice for joining these. I need to learn, so I'll be back. totally forgot what I was doing. I didn't even join as I went. What was I thinking? Fixed it. Wow, that method was honestly magical. I think that for a project like this, it worked quite perfectly. However, if I were to make a cardigan, I don't think I would use it just because it does leave quite a few gaps within the work. You can see that. It's enough to keep the project together, and for something like this where it's kind of like a decor piece, I think it works extremely well. However, for a cardigan or something that is going to get a lot of like use and movement, I think I personally would prefer to just mattress stitch the granny squares together, but that's just me. Anyways, I did not cut my yarn yet because I'm gonna lay it flat and measure it. I am gonna block it no matter what, and I'm gonna put a border around it no matter what, but I'm kind of just going to decide really quick if I want to do a granny stitch border or if I want to just do like a single crochet, half double crochet, something like that border. So let me just measure it really quick. If it's pretty close to 30 by 12, then I will just simply do a simple stitch border instead of granny square. So we are currently measuring about 25 by 10 inches. I think after blocking we would easily get to the 12 inches wide, but maybe not the 30 inches in length. Honestly, what I think I might do is, I love a scalloped border. Okay, something about me if you didn't know. I think I'm gonna do a scalloped border along the short edges and then just a normal, I don't know exactly what stitch I'm gonna do yet. I'm gonna see which one I like the best, but just a normal, probably single crochet around the long edges. I love me a scalloped border. I also need to put ties on the corner so I can like tie it to the bookshelf so it stays in place, but I might just do that at the end. Should I do half double crochet? I think that looks good. Oh yeah, I think that this is looking pretty good, if I do say so myself. Fun fact, I don't know, is this a fun fact? Fun fact about me, half double crochet is my favorite stitch. So satisfying. Half double crochet girly for life. What's your favorite stitch? Sometimes I really feel a triple crochet too. If I have a good yarn that doesn't like split very much and I have a good flow going, I feel like a triple crochet can be really, really fun. But yeah, half double crochet is just so satisfying. Big fan, big fan. I wonder what brand of acrylic yarn this white yarn is because the texture reminds me of, I'm not sure if y'all have ever seen those squishy videos, like where they're making those really, really, really squishy squishes. I don't know what they're called, like the little squishy toy things, and they're like kind of sticky, but then they put them in this like white powder to like, I don't know if it's to make them less sticky. It kind of looks like powdered sugar kind of. Anyways, that is what the texture of this yarn reminds me of. It's so specific. This whole time I've been using it has just made me think about those squishy videos with the like, where they dip them in like the powdered sugar and you just want to like eat them. Is that just me? That can't just be me. Anyways, shell stitch time. It's also squeaking pretty bad. Yikes. Okay, here's what that looks like. I kind of tried to go in between the clusters to make it. I don't know, I think it looks a little whack. And it didn't really give me that much length. I know that I was trying to go for more length on this side, so let me try something. How does that look? Does that look okay? I feel like it looks okay. It looks fine. What I did was the shell stitch, and then I went back and did basically single crochet, 2 half double crochets, 3 double crochets, 2 half double crochets, single crochet to make it like a little bit pointier, and then I went back across and I did single crochets with 2 half double crochets at the peak, single crochets with a single crochet 2 together at the valleys, I guess. I don't know. I think it looks okay. It definitely gave us some length, so I'm just gonna roll with it. If you don't like it, feel free to let me know. I'll probably be like, well, it's too late. I already did it, so that's what we're going with. And hopefully I remember what I did so I can do the same thing on the other side. Gosh, this yarn is so squeaky. Ta-da! So there's that side. Here's the other side. Do they look like twins? Sisters? Cousins? I think it's fine. Okay, now I think I'm going to block it first and then add our straps, our little ties on the corners. And then also I have to weave in 3 ends because that's the beauty of the join as you go method and weaving in your ends ahead of time. Okay, I will be right back and then we will figure out this tie situation. Okay, I have it blacking right now. See? But I was thinking about the tassels. How cute would it be to have the 6 colors make up the tassels, if that makes sense? So we have this much green left, and so my thought is to cut this green in half, and then that'll be the length of each of our tassels, since we have 4 tassels, and then rolling for the colors that go into the tassels. How do I explain this? Okay, so I'll roll for 3 colors, and that will be like our first tassel, and then the next tassel will be the remaining 3 colors, and then we'll do it again. So that way every color gets used equally, and we will use up all of this green yarn. I think it's a good idea. Sorry if that's confusing, but you'll see what I mean. That being said, let's roll. Okay, so for the first tassel, we will have 4, which is green, 6, so purple, and our third color will be 5, so blue. So the first tassel will be made up of green, purple, and blue. The second tassel will be made up of pink, orange, and yellow, and then we'll roll for the third one and the fourth one. So this is all the green we have to work with. I'm not entirely sure what I want to do. Maybe I'll braid them. I don't know. So I'll cut ourselves the same length in purple. I haven't fully thought this through, but I just thought it would be fun to incorporate the colors again and then also use up the very last bit of green yarn we have. Okay, here's our first tassel for tie. Okay, set that aside. Okay, here's our second tie. And now let's roll for what our third tie will be. The little noodle of green, oh my gosh. So we have 6, so purple. That was 3, so yellow, and then our last color is 5. So we have blue, which means our fourth one will be the green, the pink, and the orange. And it means we have officially used up all of the green yarn, so that is exciting. Okay, here is our third tie, and here is our fourth tie. Here they all are. I think they look pretty good. Equal opportunity for all. Now I gotta decide how I want to attach them. Alright everyone, here is the finished granny square mat. Let me know what you think. I think it turned out super cute. I will insert some footage on what it looks like on our shelf. I did just take it off so I could show you for the outro. I did end up just tying on ties just like that, but they look super cute in my opinion, and they are functional, so that's great. But yeah, I am so pleased with how this came out. It's so bright and colorful, and I love it. It's very fun. So definitely let me know your thoughts, and I highly suggest rolling for scrap for a granny square project like this because it was so fast and so easy and so fun, and I think the results came out amazing. Let me know what your favorite color combination was out of all of these. Also, before I forget, let's do the final mass weight of the yarn that we used. Alright, so pink, we have 17 grams left, which means we used 10 grams of pink. Orange, we have 100 grams, which means we used 10 grams of orange. Yellow, we have 17 grams, which means we used 14 grams of yellow. Green, we don't have any left, so we used 17 grams of green. Blue, we have 40 grams, which means we used 14 grams of blue. Interesting because blue was our highest use, but we must have used it for like the beginning rounds more so, considering we ended up using more green than blue. And then purple, we have 69 grams, which means we used 13 grams of purple. Alright, and then finally, white, we have 115 grams, which means we used 65 grams of white. Data. Let me know if you would ever make a granny square project like this, rolling for scrap. I definitely want to make more in the future. I think, like I said, a cardigan would be so fun. But yeah, definitely let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have any other fun roll for scrap video ideas you want to see from me. I can't believe we finished this project in a day. That's actually bonkers. So yeah, super fun, super easy, super fast. But that's gonna be it for this video. If you want, you can follow me on my other socials. It's at Viney_Maple, which is the same way it's spelled here. I will see you over there, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!